I would like to introduce Senator Jeremy McPike, who's with us today. And I would also like to recognize any past chairs that we have in the room. I know we have several. Please raise your hand. Thank you for your service. There's nobody here that appreciates your service more than me. All right. I also would like to recognize our president and CEO of the Chamber, Debbie Jones. I would like to ask all of our current board members if you would stand and or raise your hand. All right. Thank you for your service this year. Okay, at this time, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Governor Terry McAuliffe. Governor McAuliffe is working every day to build the new Virginia economy by creating jobs in 21st century industries. A lifelong entrepreneur, Governor McAuliffe brings a common sense business approach to his position as the Commonwealth's chief job creator, and the results speak for themselves. Since the start of his administration, the number of jobs in Virginia has increased by nearly 200,000. He has closed 955 economic development deals that will bring a record-breaking $16.1 billion in capital investment to the Commonwealth in the coming years. That is billions, with a B, more than any other governor in Virginia's history. Virginia's unemployment rate has declined from 5.4% in January 2014 to 3.8% today, the lowest rate in 9 years. All right. This, by the way, is the second lowest rate of any major states. Working across the aisle, he won bipartisan support to reform transportation, revolutionize education, and protect Virginians from gun violence. Through his efforts, Governor McAuliffe made Virginia a national leader on a variety of issues. He is chairman of the National Governors Association, where he's made cybersecurity his signature initiative, and as a result, been called the Cyber Governor of the Year. Whoa. Governor McAuliffe was named 2016 Bio Governor of the Year by the Biotechnology Innovation Organization and was twice elected chairman of the Chesapeake Bay Executive Council. He has been nationally recognized for his work restoring more civil voting rights than any other governor in U.S. history. And I'll say, oh, by the way, get your tails out there and vote in the primary today, okay, on that, all right? He has worked to make Virginia an open and welcoming place to do business and has led 27 trade missions to almost 24 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the 72nd governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe.
Am I right? Yeah. There's a little enthusiasm. That's great. Folks, you could have woken up today and been in Ohio or Pennsylvania, and your careers would be ruined. You're here in the greatest state, the greatest nation on earth. Let me talk a little bit about what's happening here, and I would like to take a couple questions if I could. It's great to be with you. I would reiterate what Cece said. Please vote today. It is a primary day. The point I always try to make to folks, the governor actually has more say in your everyday life than the President of the United States. We do all the education funding, we build the roads, determine what roads we build, administer the Medicaid program, Medicare program in our state. So, you know, on the day-to-day basis, the things that affect you, it is so important to have good leadership. And the last time we had a primary, 6% of the voters showed up to vote. 6%. That is a disgrace. I have zero tolerance for people who do not vote. You need to get out and exercise your constitutional right. Today, across the globe, men and women are wearing the cloth of our great country, including my son, who's a Marine, who's today defending our great nation. for our basic freedom and liberty. The least we can do is spend 15 minutes to go vote. So I do hope you take this opportunity. I had my I voted sticker, but my young daughter wanted to wear it, so I gave it to her. She didn't vote, she's not old enough, but she's wearing it today. But let me tell you, Cece went through all the numbers. I mean, we're in great shape today. You know, 3.5 years ago, when I ran for governor, I said we got to build a new Virginia economy. We have to do things differently. Virginia, as you know, is the #1 recipient of Department of Defense dollars, #1 of all 50 states. Largest naval base in the world, as you know, 27 military installations, the Pentagon, CIA, Quantico, all of those assets here in Virginia. And that's great news when they're spending money. But when you have a sequestration, government shutdown, that really affects our economy. In 2011 through 13, we lost $9.8 billion of direct spending, 154,000 jobs lost. As we sit here today, it's doubtful we're going to get a budget out of the Congress. I'm not a huge fan of Congress. I don't think they do anything. And I think we're going to have another continuing resolution, which means the law of the land will be sequestration. And the next round will be worse. So, what I said 3.5 years ago, we got to diversify, we got to grow, and that's what we've really leaned in. I'm proud to stand here today, and we're a different state today. Cece went through the numbers, record low unemployment. Our unemployment claims, I just announced last week, hit a 44-year low, the lowest they have been since 1973. And what's important about that is our workforce was half the size in 1973. We're at that level with double the number of workers we have in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We've brought in a lot of new businesses. We now are the #1 state in America for cybersecurity. This is something I've traveled the globe to recruit businesses to come back. #1, 685 cybersecurity companies here in Virginia. Data analytics, we're leading the country, more data centers than any state in America. Autonomous vehicles, which is the next big revolution that's going to be going on to affect our disruptive economy. Autonomous vehicles, the drones, underwater. I always say I want a drone in every home, and I want them all to say made in Virginia. And in fact, I just toured our first Virginia assembly plant for now solar panels. But as you may have read in the paper a couple of weeks ago, I was the first governor in American history. I went up and piloted an unmanned aircraft, a drone. I took it up, it was great. I had a little robot in the front seat. I had a little laptop, and I hit the button, said take off, and went right, went left, and most importantly, as I was 8 miles over the ocean, I hit the button that said land, and it came back and landed right where it's supposed to. And that was the day that I announced that we have just finished and cut the ribbon on the first drone runway in America, 300-foot runway that we have to take off on drones down at Wallops Island. As you may have read, I just jumped out of an airplane last Friday, 10,000 feet with a parachute, and landed in the middle of a Wounded Warrior event we had down in Virginia Beach. I'd like to say my security folks, really 7 months ago, they don't care anymore. Let him go. Let him go do whatever he's going to do. But we're now leading. Virginia Tech is leading now in the autonomous vehicles. We are one of 7 FAA sites in the country, which is really great for what we're going to do in the future. I'm building right now 55 miles of new roads, all with a new autonomous sensor so that we can capture all of this new, what I call the 21st century jobs, which is exciting. We're leading in the way. We did the first drone delivery of about 300 burritos that we delivered to Virginia Tech campus. I was interviewed on national television by a microphone tethered from a drone, and we delivered pharmaceutical supplies during a snow emergency to a diabetic family who they could not get to. So this is coming, and I just want Virginia to always be leading. So all of these great areas, we're out front, and that's great for us. The big issue I face right now is Virginia's unique. We have too many high-paying jobs that we cannot fill. This is the challenge I deal with every single day. Right now in Virginia, I have 36,000 cyber jobs open. Parents, listen to me very carefully. The starting pay is $88,000. Now, you're all too young, but there used to be a movie called The Graduate. And the key phrase was plastics. I tell everybody, cyber is the new place for anyone graduate. You don't need a 4-year degree, you get a 2-year degree, and I can get you into a job immediately. So this is the challenge. Last year I had 149,000 technician jobs open in Virginia. Now, they stayed open for about 30 days. That's $1 billion of family payroll wages that were lost. Cost us, the state, about $54 million in revenue. 36 million hours of productivity lost. So last year, working together in a bipartisan way, we came together and put $1 billion into education. We are now redesigning our entire K-12 system. High schools in America do not work anymore. They don't. They were built for the Industrial Revolution. They were big buildings with classroom with seats, and you got credit for seat time. Doesn't do you any good in this new economy. So now we're transforming them. This fall, in every one of our high schools now, you're going to get credit for internships, externships, on-the-job training. Credentialing is going to go on in high school. Beginning this fall, K through 5, kindergarten through 5, you will now be offered cybersecurity lessons. So that you get these children at early age. You cannot wait till you're a senior in high school and to meet your guidance counselor says cyber. It's too late. Totally transforming. We're leading the nation today on workforce development credentials. I've called for 50,000 a year. By 2030, I want to have 460,000. If we do that, we'll be the #1 state in America for credentialing. That's how you bring all these new jobs in. I travel the globe, as Cece mentioned. I leave next Sunday, actually, on my 28th trade mission. I'll be going to 5 European countries. I'm the most traveled governor in the United States of America. That's how you bring these jobs back. And people say, well, why do you travel so much? Pretty simple. 90% of the world's customers live outside the United States of America. So we go where the customers are. I just 2 weeks ago went to Mexico, had great success. I met with the president, the cabinet, all the 31 governors. I said, let me be very clear. You're hearing a lot of stuff out of Washington. We build bridges to economic opportunity in Virginia, not walls. And I left with 4 contracts. And that's how you do it. You know, I'm a big free trader. I happen to have supported TPP. I disagreed with President Trump and Hillary Clinton. I'll compete against anybody. You give me a fair trade deal, I'm all in. Those 11 countries in TPP, folks, 60% of our exports went to those 11 countries. We as a nation are now shut out. China has done a deal with 4, and they'll have all 11 done by the end of the year. That just, to me, doesn't make economic sense. You gotta be able to trade, you gotta be able to sell our products. You cannot have all this rhetoric about putting walls up around your country or your state, because you just cannot grow doing that. So I'm a big trader. We got to continue to grow, and that's how we, bring all these jobs in that we have from all over the globe. So education. I want to thank Senator McPike and he and his colleagues. We work very closely in a bipartisan way to get all of these things done, work together. We've transformed transportation the last 3.5 years. I'll be honest with you, as you know, it was a mess when I became governor. We had a road called Route 460. $300 million of your taxpayer money was spent, and not a shovel had ever gone in the ground. And not even a permit had been applied for. The Midtown Tunnel deal, one of the worst deals I've ever seen. What happened was, P3s are great, but you gotta know how to negotiate a P3. And we got out-lawyered years ago, and we suffered the consequences. That's all over. We got a new thing called Smart Scale. Not a road can be built in Virginia unless it goes through the metrics of Smart Scale scoring. Congestion relief, economic development, environmental impact. And when the General Assembly comes back, my Secretary of Transportation hand delivers a binder with every single road project requested and how it rates. And if it doesn't rate well, it's not going to get funded. We've totally taken the politics out of our transportation. We've been proud. We fixed up Dulles Airport. As you know, we put $50 million in last year. It was very disconcerting. United was ready to leave Dulles Airport. And the loss of United Airlines would have cost us 35,000 jobs. It really would have impacted Prince William and other counties around here. We were able to save it and just signed a 7-year deal to keep them here. The Port of Virginia, probably one of my proudest achievements, it lost money for 7 years, was put up for sale, which is one of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard. You do not sell your assets. I'm not going to sell Dulles Airport, and I'm certainly not going to sell the deepest port on the East Coast, so we took it off the market. We've invested $750 million, and I'm proud that at the end of the year, more cargo containers came to our port than any port in the United States of America. We are now on our 3rd straight year of profitability. And 2 weeks ago, the largest ship to ever go through the Panama Canal. You should see the video. It's got about this much on each side. It is 4 football fields long. Think of that. 19 TEUs wide. It came all the way around the Panama Canal, with the new Panama Canal, and there was only one port on the East Coast that could handle this beautiful ship. And it came to the port of Virginia. I went and met the ship. It was a big deal for us. And then they offloaded a lot of the cargo. The ship went up, and then it went to those dinky little ports in New York and Baltimore and Savannah and Charleston. But, I mean, folks, honestly, the port's doing great today. So we're doing great. The state economically is in great shape. We got to continue it as we take it to the next level. I've also signed 3,786 bills, the most bills ever signed by a governor. I also have the record for the most vetoes of any governor in Virginia history. I continuously told the General Assembly, if you send me a bill that discriminates against women, LGBT members, hurts our environment, puts more needles, guns on the street, or rolls back voting rights, I will veto it. And they kept sending me crazy bills, and I kept vetoing, and I'm proud. I thank Jeremy and everybody else. I was never overridden once, 120-0, the only governor I'd be able to do that. But folks, you cannot grow an economy, I don't have to tell you, you're all in business, if you discriminate. And the bills that I had to veto, defunding Planned Parenthood, and just horrible bills. You could sell machine guns in stores. I mean, doesn't make a lot of sense today. In order to get an absentee ballot, you had to fax in your driver's license. Now, a lot of people don't have driver's license, and clearly not many have fax machines. But these bills came to my desk. They passed. I had to veto them. And just look what happened in North Carolina. HB2 cost them $3.63 billion. CoStar, one of the largest, those in the real estate business will know CoStar, 786 high-paying jobs were going to North Carolina. They refused to go to North Carolina because of the HB2 bill, and we now have in Richmond, Virginia. I just recently, as you know, announced that Nestle, the largest consumer product company in the globe, moved out of those shark-infested waters of California and moved here to Northern Virginia. And as I told the CEO, we don't have sharks in Virginia. You come to Virginia Beach, we have dolphins. They come, they pick up your children, they give them rides, they drop them. I actually told them that. I don't know if it helped with the pitch or not. But you just saw last week I announced Amazon, 1,500 new jobs. Big win. Huge win. We've got a bunch more in the pipeline. But, you know, I meet with these CEOs. I've known many of them for a long time. Zero tolerance for any discriminatory bills. And I continue to try to tell the legislature. Jeremy always voted with me. I don't need to be pointing at you. He's the legislature. But, you know, this is not helpful to business. Stay out of people's personal lives. Focus on economic development. Grow your economy. Invest in education. Make sure that folks can drive, see their kids play a ball game, and it doesn't take 2 hours, and you're going to do pretty well. So we've been able to stop all of that stuff and really think about that we are now the second lowest unemployment rate of any major state in the United States of America. It's been a great, great success, and I want to thank all of you. I've got 6.5 months to go. I want to close about $4 billion more in deals. I want to hit $20 billion. The most any governor's ever done is 13, so I really want to shatter that record. And the good news about that is of the 16 we've done already, probably only $1.5 billion has been deployed because you need permitting and all that. So the good news is we got a great pipeline going forward for the next 5-10 years. The key thing is we got to fix this issue for folks that we got too many kids are graduating from school with a lot of debt and no skills to match all of these jobs we have. It's that connective tissue. But as I say, we've invested $1 billion, and it'll pay huge, huge dividends for so many years. So I thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. I'll be glad. Let's take some questions, and we can fire anything you want. Yes, sir. You're going to have to really talk about
R&D Cyber Solutions. I'm on workforce development, and I understand that there's 18,000 jobs open in cybersecurity.
36,000.
Oh, 36 now, right? So my thought process is how do you endorse innovative workforce development programs for cybersecurity? We actually have, we're looking at launching one to ease the constraints around hiring these professionals coming out of high school, at the high school level, going into a job versus even going to college first.
Yeah. So the question is, how do we do this to incentivize, to build that?
Well, how would you go about supporting the innovative?
Well, I can tell you what we do here in Virginia. Very unique. I can go through a bunch of different things. Let's just take cybersecurity. Right now, if you're willing to come back and work for the state for 2 years, I'll pay for your college education and go get that cyber degree. We're the only state in America that offers it. If you're a veteran today, we will pay for you as a veteran to go in and get your cybersecurity credentials. We're only the state that offers that. In K through 5, as I say, we are going to be the only state that's offering cybersecurity. I promised all of you I'd do something about the testing here in Virginia. We had way too many tests. Our SOLs, way too many. Teachers were teaching a test and kids were learning to memorize. Worthless. You know, I started my first business when I was 14. I had to. Started 30 different companies. You know, I've seen ups and downs. You know, whenever I had a problem with someone who worked for me, I didn't really care what that person memorized. I needed a cognitive thought process going on. How do you solve the problem? And taking a bunch of SOLs doesn't get you there. So we got rid of 5 SOLs. And what we've added in now, computer science and cyber are going to be part of the core curriculums in all of the high schools here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So we're incentivizing. Right now, we have 114 what we call our key credential areas in need of jobs. I'll pay 2/3, the state will pay 2/3 of the cost. I want some, you know, you have to have some skin in the game, but we'll pay 2/3 of that cost to get you that credential that you need, that industry credential to go right out in the field. I was just in Southwest Virginia the other day, huge trucking company out there. They are desperate for drivers. They're starting drivers at $60,000 a year, and people are sitting out there without jobs. I pay 2/3 of it, you know, it's by $1,800. I'm going to pay $1,200. You got to put up $600, but it's worth it to the state because this person now goes out and gets a job for $60,000, paying state tax revenue and so forth, and they'll be in that job forever. So we're really being creative in what we're doing in order to get folks their credentials and what they need to go forward. We're the only state today that offers many of these different programs that we offer, but it's the key on education. You can go to any one of our community colleges now. We now have 15 centers of cyber excellence. There was one when I became governor. Huge opportunity for us to go to a community college. That's all you need to get one of these new cyber jobs. So we're really working, you know, trying to pick it up. The other big area that we're trying to do is renewable energy. I've leaned in hard. I cannot tell you how much I disagree with the president pulling out of the Paris Agreement. Think about this, 192 countries joined this agreement. I mean, goodness gracious, North Korea and Iran joined the agreement. The only 2 countries that were outside was Nicaragua and Syria. The president pulled us out of that agreement. Turned our back on 192 countries. It's a shame for our country, but I can just tell you folks, climate change is real, it's happening. Go with me any day to Norfolk, Virginia when it's rained for 2 hours, half the streets are closed because of the flooding. I just got a report the other day. Right now we have 22 days of flooding down there. The moderate report on the new analysis by 2050, 222 days a year. Why does that matter to you here? I'll tell you why. We have the largest naval base in the world in Hampton Roads. Now, if I'm not showing the Department of Navy or the Secretary of Defense that we're serious about sea level rise, guess what? That naval base can move to another state on higher ground. And we lose an asset that's probably worth $1 trillion to us. It impacts all of us. Tangier Island, which is right off the coast there, been around since 1619, 1/3 of the island is gone. It will cease to exist by 2050. We're going to have to move families off the island. But it is rising, and it's $92 billion worth of real estate and infrastructure. We're the second most vulnerable region behind New Orleans. So this is a big issue. So we're now doing community colleges. I will pay for you to go get a solar panel installation degree. I mean, we've gone, very proud, we've gone from 17 megawatts of solar when I took office to 1,800 today. Fastest growing in the country. This is the future. I've called for 8% of the state juice to come from renewable. I can tell you this, if you, Jeff Bezos, were sitting right here, the chairman, founder of Amazon, or Tim Cook at Apple, or any one of them, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, they will tell you they will not put a facility in a state that does not offer them a percentage of renewable energy. Guaranteed. I just broke ground on the largest solar facility on the entire East Coast with Amazon down in Accomack County. Spectacular. But this is the future. And in the last, our job creation has been up 65% in solar. Today, in Virginia, we have nearly 4,000 solar jobs we've created in the last 3 years. Energy efficiency jobs in the last 3 years, 75,000. Now, what I'm trying to do with parts of the Commonwealth like Southwest Virginia, which was coal, is tell them these are the future jobs. We have 8.5 million people who live in Virginia. Our workforce is about 4.3 million Virginians work every day. We're a coal state. Out of the 4.3 million, how many do you think work in the coal business? Take a guess. Out of 4.3 million.
100,000.
100,000. 1,716. Think about that. That's it. It's gone from where it was to here. Natural gas has changed the landscape. So what I've tried to do in Southwest Virginia, and it's a culture issue, they're hard-working folks. Their father and grandfather, and probably their grandfather, worked in the coal mine. But we have all of these new jobs, and that's why Danville Community College, they lost textile and furniture and tobacco in Danville, just became a center of cyber excellence. They now can move from these lost industries to these new 21st century industries. And I've really tried to lean in because, folks, we are a Commonwealth. What happens in Danville or Martinville affects all of us in Northern Virginia. And it's important that we give everybody that opportunity. I'm dealing with an opiate crisis. I lost, unfortunately, 1,100 Virginians last year. I got a mental health crisis we're dealing with. The thing that I have not been successful at, and I apologize, Jeremy Otai went for a want to trying, is we did not expand Medicaid expansion here in Virginia. I don't care where you are on the issue. I come at it from a business background. We have forfeited, as of today, and you taxpayers should understand it because it's your money, $10.5 billion lost. 100% comes back. You send it to Washington, whether you like it or not, 13 different taxes. You get 100% back. We have forfeited $10.5 billion. Imagine if I had that running through my account. 400,000 Virginians we paid for to get health care. Now let's be clear. These folks are still going to a hospital emergency room. Who do you think's paying for it? You are. You pay twice. Whether you like the bill or not, it really doesn't matter. And unfortunately, what's coming out of Washington, and this is what I've tried to tell my legislature for 3 years, the bills that they're proposing to come out to transform Obamacare and all of that, that those that expanded and those individuals that are in by March 1, last March 1, will be continued forward. So Virginia will perpetually, for eternity, be locked out. I just got to tell you, we lose $6.6 million a day. No strings attached. I had worked a waiver with Washington. We could run it through a quasi-independent, outside the state government entity, so not a cent of taxpayer dollar would be used to bring $6.6 million back a day. And they just wouldn't do it. Terrified of the Tea Party. I had many of them in darker nights say, Governor, I'd vote for it tomorrow, but if I do, I'll lose my job. The Tea Party primary will take me out. So, you know, some of them, $17,300 a year, is that what you get, Jeremy? I mean, no offense. I mean, come on, but it is what it is. And you unfortunately, you should understand, you are going to pay those consequences. Our neighbors in Maryland, West Virginia, Kentucky have all done it, but not us. And we will be locked out. I'm trying to do a couple tricks with the Senate up in Washington, but the odds are it's not going to be good for Virginia. It's unfortunate we've lost that money. And from an economic development perspective, 60,000 new healthcare jobs. Lee County lost their hospital. Our furthest county in the Southwest, gone. Can't sustain itself. So that's closed. I'm good at job creation. I love it. I'll be very honest with you. First, it's hard to bring a business back from overseas. It's hard to get them to your state. It is virtually impossible to get a business to move to a county that no longer has a hospital. They're going to go to other counties. So Lee County, unfortunately, I've been very honest with the folks down there. They've signed their death warrant because no business is going to come. I mean, if you're going to move to a state, you're going to go to a county that has a hospital in case one of your employees had a heart attack or something. So it's unfortunate, and yet in some of these rural communities, these rural legislators refuse to vote for it because it's, quote, Obamacare. I don't care what you call it. I get my money back, I want every penny. If they got it in Washington, no offense, forget the other 49 states. I want every single penny in Virginia. That's my job. We don't complain when we get an aircraft carrier paid for 100% by the federal government. This is even worse. We've paid it in, you get your money back, and we've said no. But unfortunately, that's the politics today, and that gets into redistricting, which I'm trying to end. We need nonpartisan, independent drawing of lines, because The middle is gone, and if you don't lose your job, I mean, we had the whole General Assembly up 2 years ago, 140 seats, 82 didn't even have an opponent. How was that competition? Business, you have competition every day. Keeps you strong, thinking. Congress, 95% win. It's really unfortunate. But if you don't have a general, the only way you lose is in your primary, and it just pushes you way out here. It just pushes you. And there's no reason to come together, which, but we had a lot of good compromise, as I say, on education, economic development, transportation, with the General Assembly on those issues. But if you go to our VEC website, we got all of this listed on there, or the Secretary of the Commerce, we got all of these incentive packages that we're offering to incentivize. But let's cut right to the chase. We need to the bottom line is earlier we got to get in the education system. They need to know, welding is a great job. Newport News Shipyard, they'll hire anyone tomorrow at $65,000 to do welding. You can provide for your family on that. We got to get off that, a lot of these jobs are not good jobs. They are very good jobs, and you'll have them for life. So that means getting more people with experience earlier into our education system to talk about these important jobs. Anybody else? Yes, you too, sure.
Governor, my name is Betty Dean. Question about the Go Virginia program. I'm interested in it in particular because I understand it encourages collaboration on different jurisdictions. Can you tell me where we are with
Sure.
that?
Yeah, all the districts are now formed, and what Go Virginia is, it's another one of the great economic tools we have in our tool basket. What happens too many times, and I always use Hampton Roads as an example. You've got 7 different jurisdictions. They never work together. They compete against each other every single day. And Suffolk and Chesapeake and Newport News and Norfolk, Virginia Beach. If they ever would come together as a region to compete economically, hard to beat. The same thing in Northern Virginia here. You get Prince William and Loudoun and Fairfax and the counties to work together. So the whole emphasis is to get the regions, the counties, to work closer together. So when you're making an economic development pitch, it's not competing against one another, to really bring all the assets that we have. Let's be honest, we're blessed here. We've got low taxes. We haven't raised our taxes in 30 years. We're business-friendly regulations. We got mountains, we got the ocean, we got the federal government close by, we got international airport that serves 355 international destinations a day. Deepest port in the East Coast, you can come to Virginia. Half the population of the United States of America is within a 1-day drive from Virginia. That's great when you're bringing products in. So Go Virginia is a great effort. You only will incentivize it with money, but only if you're working together as a region to come together. And the regions have all been formed. And hopefully you're all beginning to put your packages together to go out and help solicit business. But it's a great program, and W. Wynn and others, business community folks came together to get it done. Yes, sir.
First, Tom, thank you very much for all your efforts on the transportation funding bill a couple of years ago. In that vein, where do you see transportation and infrastructure development going over the next few years in Northern Virginia, especially?
Yeah. So I'm very proud of what we're able to do with Smart Scale and bring this together. So since the beginning of my administration, we've done about $10 billion of committed roads and infrastructure projects that are under construction. I'm very happy. When I ran for governor, I promised we would help transform transportation here in Northern Virginia. I've lived in McLean for 25 years. I understand traffic. Our biggest problem is 66, as you know, the most congested road in the United States of America. So this was probably one of our most crowning achievements. First of all, we got a deal inside the Beltway, which for 30 years, Arlington County refused to do anything about inside the Beltway. Well, it doesn't do you any good if it comes in, you got a gigantic funnel, sort of like we have in 495 before you hit the American Legion Bridge. So we got a deal, and construction's beginning on inside the Beltway. I'm building 10 lanes outside the Beltway, 3 free on each side and 2 express. And the great news, it was supposed to cost the taxpayers $1 billion. We did it as a public-private partnership. And when we came up with the idea, many in the General Assembly said, not Jeremy of course, said that this will never work, that nobody will bid on it. I said, well, let's do it ourselves. Since it has tolling capacity, let's do it ourselves, the state. So we looked at it, we came up with a number, and then I said, okay, now put it out for bid. And a lot of folks said, oh, no one's going to bid on it. We got a bunch of bids, well, 3 really top shelf bids, And a project that was going to cost $1 billion of taxpayer money, it's a $2.3 billion total project. They came in and bid, not 1 penny of taxpayer money is now going to be used. It's all going to be done by the private sector. And when they close, which will be in the next 4 weeks, they're going to write us a check for $500 million cash. Zero investment from the state. That's how you negotiate deals. I don't want anyone out to negotiate us. So that's done, 495. Spectacular new project going on there. We've added 18 miles to the express lanes there because you get to Fredericksburg and that Garrisonville flyway. So we got 18 miles taking it all the way to the DC line. So by the time we're done, we're going to have 75 miles of express capacity lanes in Northern Virginia for people to be able to make their choice. We just won 20% of the federal fast lane grant for the Atlantic Gateway, which is going to allow us, we're building a new bridge over the Rappahannock. We are adding 18 miles of freight line track as it comes up, because passenger rail Amtrak is a mess today because CSX owns the rail line in Virginia. So if you're on Amtrak and you got a freight car in front of you, you are going 31 miles an hour. That's it. They own the lines, nothing we can do about it. So it's really crippled passenger rail. We try to do in Roanoke and Lindley coming up from Hampton Roads. So we are now building about 14 to 18 miles of new freight track. So when the freight car is coming up, we got a passenger rail that now has capacity to move over and let the passenger rail move forward. We won that. We got 20% of the entire pot for the country. Every governor was mad at me. Why did you get 20%? No, I said we had the best project, of course. And so, I mean, we have revolutionized. Going forward under President Trump, and I've been meeting with the White House officials. I've talked to the president myself on this topic. What he's announced the other day, there's nothing there. They all talk about P3s. Well, first of all, folks, only 20% or 20 of the states in America even have enabling legislation for P3s. For many states, like Nevada or any other state, if you don't have toll roads, there is no P3. That's how you get the private sector in. So this idea that P3s are going to be the solve of all of our problems in America, it's just plain wrong. So there wasn't much there. Maybe we could do some stuff. I'll be honest with you, I'll go back to my point on Congress. They are scared of their own shadows. They do nothing. They can't get a budget done. They get to print money at the federal government, and they still can't get a budget done. We have to balance the budget, governors, at the state. We don't get to print money. But they should raise the gas tax. Nobody will say what I just said. I view it as a user fee. You get on the road, you do it. We have not raised it in 30 years. Well, it's been crippled with inflation and so forth. We have 9,000 bridges and tunnels in America today that are deemed deficient. Think of that. We got the American Legion Bridge. It's okay. It's fine, but it's going to need some work. What if we had to shut that down? That is the main thoroughway, Maryland and Virginia. But we got to get real. I've looked at other capacity. You should know this, and I don't know who to blame, whether it be George Washington, or I'm going to blame Thomas Jefferson or Patrick Henry, somebody. But everyone says, well, Governor, why don't we get more bridges over it? Maryland owns 100% of the Potomac River. We own nothing. So when you go over the American Legion Bridge, you'll see where the Virginia's for Lovers sign. That begins Virginia property. We have no say. That is the worst deal ever negotiated. Should have been half and half, but I can't do anything about that. So there's nothing Virginia can do. It is 100% a Maryland issue. We got the Memorial Bridge, which is in tough shape, as you know, heading into DC. Not a parcel of land on that is on Virginia property. It's all DC. So, so we got to figure some of these things out. So I wish I was more optimistic for you, but until Congress gets real and says, okay, we got to come up with a dedicated source of funding, there's not much that's going to happen, honestly. It's really unfortunate. We got to fix our electrical grid, got a lot of big issues. We worry about cybersecurity. Virginia had 76 million cyber attacks last year, just the state. It's a big issue. Recently they tried to shut down our 9/11 system. They want to get into our grid and cause havoc. So we need more money for infrastructure, but Congress has got to just step up, and enough's enough. And, they haven't done anything this year, and they're running out of legislative days. I mean, they got to do debt ceiling coming up, and fiscal year 18 budget coming up, and squabble about this and that. Get to work. You pay them to work. Do work. So I think the one thing you know about me, I promise you, I will never be a member of Congress. Listen, I don't mean it disrespectfully to anybody, they choose it, but I just can't go on a job. You know, I like the executive action. I like to make decisions and move forward. That's how you get things done. Anybody else got a question? If not, I know I'm between you and the buffet table.
What's next for you?
What's next for me? I get asked that a lot. I want to finish strong. As I say, I've got to get a couple billion more in by the time I leave office. One thing I am heading up with Eric Holder and working with President Obama on this issue of redistricting. I happen to support independent, nonpartisan commissions to draw lines in these states. I am so dead serious. I believe these gerrymandered districts, and it's both sides, you know, it's both sides. It's destroyed democracy. Nobody will work together, and you let members of Congress and state legislatures draw their own lines. So they're guaranteed, I mean, you know all the lines, they look like snakes, and, you know, it's horrible, and no one will work together. And so I'm going to head up this effort to redraw the lines, which is very important. The one reason I'm just really important for me, for Ralph to win, my lieutenant governor, he's been a great stalwart with me. And I tell, you know, when I ran, I had a tremendous amount of Republican support. You know, in fact, the mayor of the biggest city in Virginia, Virginia Beach, Republican. I'm the only Democrat he's ever endorsed. Dwight Scharr, who used to be George Bush's finance chairman, endorsed me for governor and did a fundraiser. I remember we went into his house and I brought President Clinton with me. I thought the foundations were going to crumble. I mean, a wall of every Republican mankind, and then the two of us came. But I promised I'd focus on, you know, economic development and doing what needs to be done. But we got to get people back working with each other. So through this redistricting effort, I'm hoping to focus on that. But I need Ralph, and you as business leaders should understand this. If any of those 120 bills, remember, they passed. This is not some hypothetical scare you. They came to my desk for signature. If I'd signed them, the attacks on women, the last I knew, women were 51% of the workforce in the United States of America. I work hard to get businesses, women-owned business. They're not going to come to a state. They're just not. People have choices and places to go. I can promise you this. If I'd signed one of those 120 bills, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, gonna fly right over Virginia. They got places to go. They don't need to come to Virginia. And you should understand that when you go vote, because the legislature, at least in the House of Delegates, it's not going to change, I don't think. I mean, you know, politically I should say, oh yeah, we'll get it back. But I mean, there's 66 Republicans out of 100. The idea we're going to pick up, maybe, but most likely is they will be drawing the map in 2021. And we need someone there who will veto that map so that we can get more fair lines. But literally, if any of these 120 bills that I vetoed became law, we'd lose a lot of business. And you should all just think about that, because these bills are going to get passed. Just, you know. Now maybe some were passed and said, well, we know the governor will veto this, and I'm appealing to my constituency, whatever that is. But I can tell you this, defunding Planned Parenthood will be there, as you know, Jeremy, that'll be the first thing out of the box. Planned Parenthood provides health care for thousands of men and women. Many of the Planned Parenthood facilities don't even offer abortion services. And those that do, it's a tiny percentage. I mean, it's cancer screening. I mean, it's critical for so many indigent men and women. We're going to shut them down. And I had to, as you know, this passed before I became governor, the trap regulations. Adding walls, adding water fountain, add parking spots. You know, they put all of this onerous things in, said for women's safety. It had nothing to do with women's safety. It was about shutting the clinics down. They don't operate at a profit, so if I got to add 3 water fountains or 2 parking spots, I'm broke, I'm going to shut down. So I appointed a new board of health and we rolled them all back, and not one women's health clinic has closed. I just sent a message to everybody, open and welcoming to everyone. That's how you grow and diversify a great economy. Thank you very much.